It's time for Uncle Hank. Question Everything with M. Kalani Souza and Uncle Hank Ferguson.
Hey, Gangy. No, don't ask me how I know this, and I ain't gonna tell you nothing. But Uncle Hank, he's got a problem with the way they do business.
Okay, so getting into my problem, and it's a problem I think that we'll all feel very, very, very familiar with. Okay, so when we do projects like the EIS and stuff like that, right? What they do is they hand you a large document and say this is their concept of an environmental impact statement. They want you to comment on their reporting. They didn't bother asking you to participate in making that document, okay, which is like, how's that? We're just going to comment on what you have to say? And then when you do comment, they limit your comment for 3 minutes for a 100-page document. This is where it's really, really, really bad, because what they do is they set you up for failure. They set you up when they know that you cannot respond intelligently, because you can't respond intelligently in 3 minutes to practically anything. Okay?
You know, this reminds me that a lot of times in facilitation and processes with the federal government, particularly, you know, like NOAA and explorations and our community engagement and FEMA, and they always complain when you go out to a local indigenous community, sometimes you feel like you're being worked on, not worked with. That it's almost like the community is taking you for everything you got.
Yes, what they're trying to do is share more than what you asked for, and we're asking you a whole bunch of questions about what you didn't share.
And interestingly enough, gang, the art of looking like and feeling like you've been taken advantage of is the one we learned from the modern culture.
That's why we got to question everything.
Exactly.
We got to just question and question and question. Because if you don't ask the question, you yourself won't answer. You won't be able to understand an answer if it was even given.
Okay? Right. It's kind of like...
That's a very important subject.
It's like the Arawak natives in the Caribbean. They had no idea how bad it was going to be when that stranger Columbus showed up.
Right.
They should have questioned everything.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm telling you, we're not going to sit still. We're going to question what's happening up there at Pakuloa.
And the reason why we have to keep doing that is because what we want to be able to do is share with you that there's a method of doing so. Okay? You can ask. You can ask for extensions. We don't have to go by their timelines. You simply ask for extensions and have reasonable reasons. Like, for instance, nobody has a copy of this EIS we're supposed to be doing. They'll give you a link, or they posted it someplace, and hopefully you found the link and you can find it. But even that, you can't share it with your friends. It's on a computer. You need to have hard copies of things. I really stress hard copies, because in this business, you'll find out that they do a lot of lying. They'll take your input. They'll say that they're going to do this and this and this. And by the way, a public meeting is supposed to be a public meeting, and it's supposed to be recorded.
Well, that's a strong accusation, a lot of lying. Is it possible that maybe they just forgot?
Well, what they say is they suffice with no record taking. Well, I've had many experience with their record taking, and they don't say a damn thing about what we say.
Oh, so in other words, even when we do have the process and are able to engage, they don't actively record everything that's said for posterity. They pick and choose the comments.
Right. They like to reword your sentencing.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Uncle Hank, and I'm beginning to understand why the indigenous, native, and local communities feel a little put upon.
Yes, exactly. I mean, what's the whole point of having a like an EIS and you have input when you don't know what the input is? That's why I say demand that any public hearing is recorded and that you have access to the recording. Okay, because you're going to find out what they're recording is not the stuff that you're actually saying. Okay, and that's where we get screwed up, because we're thinking that somehow or another they suddenly turned on us. and they're transparent.
Well, but really, they take your recording, take it out of context, and then use comments that support their position.
Precisely.
Now, let me get this straight. Is it an advisory commission or a recommendation, or how do they treat public comment?
Well, I used to think that they were actually looking for a public comment. It's really just a process that they have to go through and take it to the public. So how much of it they actually utilize and take and incorporate into their documents is really something to question. Like I said, question everything.
Well, you heard it here first, Gangy, and you're gonna hear it again. Uncle Hank, question everything.
Come be a part of a minority view.
Ao he pau ike, I ka halau ho o kahi,